Hello, hope you're having a great day. Here's a thought. Do you ever catch yourself wishing that your life was easier? You hear a lot of people moaning, whether it be in person, whether it be on the telly, about how hard life is, people banging on about the cost of living crisis, etc., etc. And I'm not saying that people's lives aren't hard. And look, if you spend a lot of time wishing your life was easier, then, fair play to you. But, sitting there wishing that your life was easier, does it actually make life easier? Does it improve your life in any way? Or does it just make you feel even worse about the situation you're in and waste time, thinking about wishing that life was easier that you could have used to change something in your life to make things better? Now, self-improvement is all about improving yourself, right? Making your life better. But there's a difference between making life better and making life easier. See, because you could look at someone who's richer than you, more successful than you, fitter than you, whatever, higher than you in whatever realm of your life, and think, oh, their life's easier. I wish my life was easier so I could, reach their levels of whatever it is. But there's always someone below you as well. You might think, oh, I wish that life was easier. I wish I didn't have to go to work. But there's people out there that don't have a job. There's people out there that don't have a home. There's people out there that don't have enough food. So where you are at, wishing that life was easier for you, there'll be someone else, or there'll be many people that will be wishing that their life was as easy as yours. And you might find that if somehow overnight your life became easier, and you moved up to a level where your life was easier, you would probably still wish that your life was easier than that. You'd still look at people above you and wish that your life was easier than theirs. So it's not really how easy your life is, it's your frame of mind and how you think about things. Because human life is easy. We don't have to go out and hunt every day to get our food. I'm sure some people do in some countries, but we're designed. We've evolved over millions of years to be able to go and hunt and gather. Able to withstand all different climates, different temperatures, different weathers. But it's a very tiny percentage of human beings that have to go out and hunt and gather their food, etc. Have to protect their young from predators. We're not out there having to fight saber-toothed tigers anymore and live in caves. Even if you're really poor nowadays, especially here in England, you'll get money from the government so that you can go and buy food. You'll get a place to live so that you're not out in the cold. Now, there are homeless people, I'm not denying that, but there's a lot of people out there that don't have to go to work every day. They don't have to do anything. Like, I know some of them. I know people that don't have a job, get money from the government, don't have their own business, and still manage to get stoned every day, and still wish that their life was easier. And if you think about it, I'm a drug addict, right? So what does a drug addict do when they're taking drugs? They want to escape from the world that they're in. They want to make their life easier by making themselves feel better by taking whatever and getting that instant dopamine hit. When I used to use cocaine, when I used to go out at the weekends, for instance, part of the reason was because I saw that it was easier for me to approach women in clubs and stuff because it gives you that confidence. So yeah, I've spent a lot of my life, too much of my life, wishing that my life was easier. I remember when I was younger and I might not have as much money given to me by my parents than, say, other people. I would look at other people and I'd wish that I was in a position where, my parents gave me more money. When I was getting bullied when I was younger, I would obviously wish that I could go into school and not get bullied. I wish that my school day could be a bit easier. The examples are endless. I've spent loads of my life wishing that my life could be easier. But what I realise now is that it's not healthy to want your life to be easier. What you want is you want to be more capable. You don't want life to be easy. Life's not supposed to be easy. An easy life doesn't bring the best out in you. An easy life isn't going to make you any better. It's not going to turn you into a stronger and better human being. I struggle every morning with getting out of bed. because I'm inherently lazy. Partly because my life's been too easy in the past, because my parents weren't hard enough on me getting me out of bed for school, because I ended up getting a job at 16 where I started at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And then it was also a job where, I didn't get sacked for being late. I was late thousands of times during my 20-year career in my day job. Life was too easy. A life that's too easy turns us into people that are too weak. So yeah, I don't want getting up early in the morning to be easier. I want to become more capable of getting up early in the morning. I accept that it's going to be hard, always. It's hard for everyone. There's people that manage to get up every morning. It's not that it's any more difficult for me than it is for them. It's just that they're more capable of overcoming whatever voices or whatever they've got going on in their head that's, trying to persuade them to stay in bed. They're able to overcome that better than I am able to overcome the voices in my head telling me to stay in bed, persuading me to be lazy. My mind that has been cultivated by having too much of an easy life. Because ultimately, anything valuable in your life requires hard work. So why would you want stuff to be easy? If it was easy, it has no value. The reason not everyone has got a six-pack is because it requires work. The reason that people are really proud of themselves when they get a six-pack is because it requires loads of work. See, the way I look at it is, if you spend a lot of your time, wishing that your life was easier, looking at people that are richer and more successful than you, and, wasting time wishing that you were in their position, or persuading yourself that you wouldn't want to be in their position, persuading yourself that, people that are more successful than you don't deserve to be where they are, which is just you persuading yourself that you wouldn't want the success that those people have. Then yeah, if you waste a lot of your time sitting there wishing, life was easier, that's time that you could spend making yourself more capable of the life you've already got and potentially making your life better. But it works both ways, because if you was the kind of person that didn't waste much time wishing life was easier because you were using that time and effort into improving yourself, making yourself more capable so that your life could be better, then you'll probably find that once you get to that next stage, where life's better, where you're more capable, you'll then be striving for more improvement, giving yourself more capability, making your life even more better. When your main focus is an easier life, you'll find that life doesn't get any easier, and you just constantly reinforce how hard your life is and how much easier other people's lives are, as you see it. Whereas if you're striving to be more capable, and you keep striving to be more capable and keep trying to make your life better, you're not seeking a life that's easier. You're just trying to turn yourself into someone that can do more. And then you'll find that your life will be progressively better than the person that's just looking for life to be easy. And you know what? That's the way it should be. Because why should someone who's only focused on making their life easy get an easy life? Humans have evolved over millions and millions of years to adapt to whatever situation, whether it be weather, whether it be, predators, whether it be, going out hunting and gathering food. Like, that is how we've got to where we're at. We haven't got to where we're at by seeking ways to make life easier. We've got to where we're at by trying to make ourselves the most capable species on the planet. So look, I'm in a situation now where I'm glad life's hard. I don't want my life to be any easier. I want to be more capable so that I can get more stuff done. When I'm in the gym and I'm trying to lift a certain weight on a certain exercise, once I get to the point where I'm doing too many reps at that weight, I'm not going to sit there. I'm going to move up to the next weight, and then I want to be able to do that amount of reps on that weight and then move up to the next weight. It's not about that weight getting easier for me to lift. It's about me becoming more capable and being able to lift more weight. And I've got to the point now where I think when stuff is hard, like getting out of bed, which I know isn't as hard for other people as it is for me, I'm glad. I'm glad that that's hard. I'm glad that I've got that struggle every day. Because when, on the odd occasion when I do manage to get out of bed on time, I feel good about myself. When I'm editing the videos on the other channel, sometimes they can take between 10 and 20 hours to edit. I could look at it and be like, I need to get an editor because that would make my life easier. But once I get to the end of editing a video and I release it and people enjoy watching it, it makes me feel good because I know that I've sat there and I've done that on my own. I've put the work in to get that video out. Now, maybe one day I will get to the point where I'll need an editor, but only because my time will be used up by doing other stuff, because I've made myself more capable and I'll be doing other stuff and I won't have time to edit the videos. I don't want to get an editor now just to make my life easier, just so that I can sit around, for hours. Now, I go to boxing classes every week. In fact, this month I've opted to do 2 sessions a week again. And it feels like it nearly kills me every time. Boxing is so extreme in terms of fitness, especially for someone like me. I'm 38 years old. I've lived most of my adult life as an unhealthy waste man. And, for the last 10 months-ish, I've been taking my health seriously. So, to go and do a full-on boxing session and actually put all my effort in, it is a killer every time. But it makes me feel so amazing when I finish a boxing class. I really have got to the point in my life where I now see that the stuff that's hard is the stuff that's more rewarding. And the stuff that's hard is the stuff that's going to make you grow. So if you want to improve yourself, you need to embrace things that aren't easy, embrace hardship. In fact, I would suggest that you actively seek things that are not easy. Everything I do on a day-to-day basis now that's actually rewarding is me leaning away from making my life easier. It would be so much easier for me to just carry on taking drugs whenever I get an opportunity. It'd be so much easier for me to not work out every day. It'd be so much easier for me to not jump in the cold shower every day. It'd be so much easier for me to eat junk food every day. It'd be so much easier for me to not sit down every day and write a journal, not sit down and force myself to meditate for 10 minutes. That would be an easier life for me. As a drug addict, that's an easy life. And, seeking an easier life has never done me any favours, when I actually take a step back and look at it. So just think about it. If you catch yourself wishing that your life was easier, do you really want your life to be easier? Or do you want to be more capable of living the life you're already living and more capable so that you can make the life you're living better, so you can accomplish more things, become a better person? Now, as usual, I'm turning this camera on after I've been for my walk around the block that I do every morning, which isn't easy, especially in the cold weather that we're having now. But, it wakes me up. It's well worth it every day. Once I got back from my walk, I obviously wrote in my journal and had a 10-minute meditation session. In terms of me getting up this morning, I had that cheat code because I needed to take my beautiful girlfriend Kat to work so that I could use her car today. So, getting up wasn't as much of an issue as it is other times. But I did find that when I got back from taking Kat to work, I was scrolling on my phone for a little while. And I didn't get cracking with, going for my walk and stuff until gone 8 a.m. And it's now actually 20 to 10. This intro to the video has taken 25 minutes to film. As usual, I get a thought in my head and I think, that'll be something, maybe helpful to people out there. And, I start talking and, I just end up stalling because, I find it a struggle to put things into words sometimes. So, time is getting on. It's time for me to crack on with my workout here at home. I'm doing legs in the gym this evening, but here at home, I think I'm going to do push-ups, sit-ups and shrugs. And then I'm going to get in that cold shower as quick as I can and get that done. And then I can have my breakfast. And then I can start doing whatever work I need to do today. All right, it's now 5:15 and you join me on my way home from the other garage. I've been around in the rain today working on my latest project. And because that car, unlike the other two, hasn't been taken apart and put back together by me over the last few years, there's loads of nuts and bolts that are rusty and it's all part of the fun. But I did send that car to my friend's workshop today to have some work done as part of the next stage of that project. So yeah, really happy that, you know, I made progress today, and yeah, really happy that that project is moving forward. Now, I have just been having a little think about what I can do next in terms of content to add to the video that I started filming today, and I'm also trying to decide how I'm gonna play my evening, because I definitely want to go to the gym to do a leg session, but I've got to pick Kat up in probably 2.25 hours, maybe 2.5 hours. So yeah, I need to squeeze everything in, and I still haven't edited yesterday's video on this channel yet. So yeah, it's been a busy day, and it's going to be a busy evening, but you know what, that's how I like it. The busier I am, the more proud I am of getting stuff done, and the less my demons can come in and overcome me. And do you know what? When I am in a situation like where I'm sort of thinking about, as I say, thinking about what bit of content I'm going to put on the end of the footage that I filmed today, it is kind of an opportunity for my mind to start worrying about, you know, oh, am I going to have enough content to finish this video? You know, I can feel it, like potentially about to use, you know, me trying to plan my video as an excuse to sort of make me anxious about the fact that, you know, what I filmed today wasn't quite enough for a video. But the more I sort of analyse my mind and see my mind trying to do things like this, the less I do end up getting anxious. Like, for instance, you know, because I've kind of recognised it for what it is, it then isn't able to overcome me and make me anxious, you know? And this is why, for me, you know, it might seem crazy that I'm always analysing my mind and talking about what my mind's telling me to do and what my mind's doing to me as if it's a separate entity. But, you know, I find that when I am analysing my mind like that, it's not able to overcome me, you know? I sort of see what it's trying to do. I know it sounds weird, you know, talking about what my mind is trying to do to me. But, yeah, when I look at it like that, my mind is then less able to overcome me. And then when I do need to use my mind, like to make plans, you know, I'm able to. And the same goes with me, like I said, you know, I'm trying to figure out, you know, am I going to go to the gym before I pick Kat up, or am I going to have a late gym session? That could be an opportunity for my mind to make me anxious about how I haven't got time to do everything before I pick Kat up, and how, you know, that's going to mean I'm going to have a late gym session, which means I'm going to eat late, which means, you know, I'm going to struggle to sleep. And, you know, like, I can sort of sense that that's a story that my mind could potentially tell me, right? But because I sense that that's a possibility, and from just experiencing listening to my mind, like on a daily basis, it then isn't able to overcome me and make me feel anxious about not being able to squeeze everything in. I just think about it as a plan, right? You know, I could do this, or I could do that. You know, maybe I'll have time to go to the gym before I pick Kat up. Maybe I'll have to go to the gym after I pick Kat up. But, you know that I've got to go home and edit yesterday's video on this channel first, you know, and then see where I'm at. And before that, I need to make my way home. So I've used my mind to plan for the future. These are the things that I need to do. But then I bring myself back to the present moment and focus on, right now, I need to drive home. And then when I get home, I'm going to focus on editing yesterday's video on this channel. And then when I've done that, I'll then look at the time and see how much time I've got left and focus on the next stage, you know? And that is how I find I live a happier life, just focusing on one thing at a time, living in the present moment. But, you know, then also, when I need to use my mind as a tool to plan for things in the future, I'm able to do that. Then I bring myself back to the present moment and crack on with what's in front of me. Rather than living a life like a lot of people, probably most people, where I'm like, oh, I've got to do this, oh, I've got to do that, worrying about this, worrying about that in the future, worrying about this in the future, worrying about that in the future, regretting this in the past, worrying that this negative thing that happened in the past might happen to me again in the future. So past, future, past, future, past, future. Yeah, I find that I'm always a happier person when I, as much as I can, live in the present moment, focus on what's in front of me right now, and then only look into the future to make plans when I decide to. My mind doesn't drag me into the future and make me worry about stuff that I don't need to worry about. I decide when I need to look into the future to plan things. I decide when I need to reminisce about past experiences to learn from them, or just to reminisce them. Because ultimately the present moment is all you've got. Yesterday is gone, doesn't exist. Tomorrow hasn't happened yet, it doesn't exist. The only thing that exists is the now. Alright, so as it turned out, I managed to get home through the traffic and I've got everything done that I needed to, and it's now 20 to 7. So in theory, I've just about got enough time to go and bang out this leg session before I pick Kat up. She may end up calling me and cutting the session short, but you know what? I can deal with that if and when it happens. Right now, I need to get myself focused for this leg session. As usual, not looking forward to it. Don't really enjoy legs, but I do always seem to go hard on legs. So yeah, it's weird. But yeah, it's going to be a killer. Going to do my incline walk as a warm-up, and then hopefully, if I've got time, I'd like to do, all, 6 machines on legs, including the hip adduction and hip abduction. But yeah, we'll have to see how we get on. All right, leg session done. Managed to do a full leg session, mainly because when I just got off of the treadmill, Kat texted me and said that she'd seen me leave for the gym because we've got a camera on our door and it sends notifications to our phones. And apparently she was literally just about to tell me to come and pick her up because she was finishing early, but then saw that I was just going to the gym, so she actually ended up getting a lift home from one of her colleagues who was luckily going that way. So that meant that I was freed up to take as long as I needed to do a full leg session, and my legs got battered. I tell you, it's always a good sort of gauge of how hard you've worked on legs when you can hardly make it up the stairs to the car park afterwards. Anyway, I've just phoned Kat and I fancy a ribeye steak, and I was expecting her to say, we'll have it another day, but then she replied in a way that she really fancies steak tonight as well. So I'm going to pick her up and we're going to the supermarket and we're going to grab a ribeye steak, and then I'm going to go home, have a shower and eat said steak. Steak, eggs and sweet potato fries. I'm going to enjoy this. We've got some of the feta stuffed peppers as well, and I'm going to have a protein yogurt afterwards because why not? Alright, so after my delicious steak, we had our smoothie that we have every day. I actually forgot to have a protein yogurt, but yeah, I'll have an extra one tomorrow. I was planning to get loads of editing done this evening, from the footage that I shot earlier on, but yeah, I basically imported the files and was only able to do a little bit of editing because I had some parts inquiry emails to answer, had some merch orders to deal with as well, and yeah, I've been answering the comments on the car video that I put out today, which seems to be doing well, so happy days. I still haven't decided what I'm going to do tomorrow in terms of getting what I shot today to the point where it's going to make a video, but you know what, I'll decide that in the morning. I don't need to think about it now. What I need to do now is get myself ready for bed, and yeah, hoping to get up early tomorrow, but that's a struggle I'll have to deal with when I wake up in the morning, because I won't have my cheat code tomorrow of having to take Kat to work because she's off in the day and she starts her night shift tomorrow night. So look, as always, massive thanks to everyone who's tuned in. Hope it's been somewhat helpful or motivational. I'll be back for another video tomorrow, following my life and following my journey, continuing turning myself into a healthier and fitter and better human being. Feel free to say hello in the comments and we'll have a chat, or get in touch through the usual channels. All the links to everything will be in the description. But other than that, I'll chat to you tomorrow.